Oh. Welcome. I'm Mad Hat, and this is Unspecific. So on this episode of Unspecific, we're going to talk about my simple setup. Had a couple questions, so I'm going to show you what I use. It's really easy, straightforward, not a lot of options, but it's cool and it seems to work fairly well. Today we're going to be pulling in a second camera. I have a GoPro style 4K camera that we'll be cutting to a few times during the video to be able to show you my desk. What I use to be able to record these videos is a Windows desktop machine. The software that I primarily use is OBS, which is the open source broadcasting software. I can show you that here in just a minute. I'll do a couple of details about how that works. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but it does allow you to do picture-in-picture, allows you to capture specific applications from the desktop, so you can do a picture while you're showing an application. It also allows you to combine things, makes it kind of easy. Primarily I use Adobe for video and audio editing or any special effects. So Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere, Adobe Audition. I have the Adobe Creative Suite, Creative Cloud Suite, the CC Suite, which I do use quite a bit, though there are open source options, and I'll go through some of those here in a minute. So if we switch over to the other camera, you can see I have a mess on my desk. The primary thing we have going here is the camera, which is part of a system that is a Marantz Turret. The Marantz Turret includes a microphone. As you can see, it's all one piece here. It includes the microphone, which does have a pop guard built in. It includes a place where I can listen to audio while I'm recording if I choose to. It also has the ring light, which allows me to light myself very easily. Try not to make it too complicated. I can turn on or off either one of those. I can adjust the mix. I can adjust the brightness of the ring light. It allows me to basically have an all-in-one system for doing recording. I normally keep the microphone just out of the camera's view. It's a little bit further than what most people recommend as far as how close you should be, but for what I'm doing, I'm not doing voiceover work with this, so it still comes out fairly well. For the 4K camera, which is set up behind me, I have my iPad set up so that I can see exactly what it's recording, and now we've got this nice effect going across all the different systems. Before we get into the software, the other thing that was mentioned was my tone, that I was being a bit dramatic. That I was doing a bit too much of the announcer voice or the game show. Hey, it's a game show, come on down! I really try to not do that during the video, but for some reason it still kind of came out. I try to speak relaxed but clearly. Want to be able to enunciate so that everyone can understand what I'm saying and not have anything strange slip in, which it always does because I can't help myself. Fortunately, I'm not using my original accent, which whenever I tell people I'm from Texas, they say, no, you're not. You don't sound like you're from Texas. I used to sound like I was from Texas, and I worked for a Silicon Valley company, and everybody made fun of me and treated me like I was stupid because of the accent. So I lost that. And I'm not going to do it right now. So let's take a look at a couple of pieces of the software. I will also show you how OBS can have it set up to be able to record a picture-in-picture where you can see my face while we're looking at the software. Isn't this fun? Oh, this is OBS capturing the desktop while capturing the camera. This is pretty awesome, right? Oh. So the first piece of software we're going to talk about is the open source broadcast system, our open broadcast system, OBS. It is the software that I use to record pretty much everything that we're doing, and then I take it somewhere else to edit it. And the reason for this is it allows me to have some flexibility as far as what I'm doing. So if we take a look at the actual software, this is kind of what it looks like. As you can see, I have two scenes set up. One, as you can see down here, I just have it called scene. The other one is called desktop. Desktop is the one that, hey, look, shows my desktop. There's a button in the middle that says transition, which allows me to switch between the two. Over here, where it says sources, I'm able to set up different sources to display on the screen. In this particular case, we have the preview screen of the video capture device. We've got the device capture, or display capture, which is the desktop that we're looking at. And then I've added an image in here, which is my logo. We can also add borders. We can do specific windows, though you can't do OBS as a window, which I found was interesting. But it allows me to do several things, and then in the middle of a recording, I can set up something over here for preview, which right now I've set to just scene, which is me, and I can hit transition. It'll transition over to where it's just recording me. Then I can transition back to be able to show the software. Over here, I've got my stream information if I wanted to stream live with Twitch, and it also has the chat. I can also stream live on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, and anything else that supports the standard protocols. I can also tell it how I want to change transitions. I can add different items in here, which is images, game capture, display capture, a browser, audio input. So if we have different audio inputs that we want to use instead of the default audio input. And then I can also do specific groups of items that I can group together. So I can have a default. I can also change the order, and basically that's what's on top and what's on bottom. As you can see here, whenever I click image, it highlights my image. I can go to properties and be able to select what image I want, and then from there are other options. If you want to know more about this, I can do a standalone video specifically going over how to use OBS, but this is what I use for all the recording. And then I pull it into other applications. So let's take a look at the actually, let's start with the audio editing applications. I don't do a lot of audio editing with the videos very much unless there's something just extremely wrong. But let me show you what a couple of the options are. The pay for option that we're going to cover is Adobe and the Adobe Audition. And then we're going to also talk about Audacity, which is one of the more common open source pieces of software for audio editing. This is Adobe Audition. I think you can see it. I'm honestly not sure. I'm having to re-record all this because I keep messing up. I don't do a lot of recording of applications, though I want to, so I'm figuring it all out. So we've got a few different options within Adobe Audition. Basically, it is a audio editor where we can do multi-track recording. So if we wanted to record audio, record music, do multi-track, it would be great for it. In the particular case of what I'm doing, there's a lot of editing audio for video. It has the option to add in special effects and things such as that. If I import, I can import a video file. So if I import one of the video files, you can see that we have the waveform and the visualization. I can go in here and remove background noise to make everything more even. I can increase the volume. I can do standardizations. There's lots and lots of effects. It also supports VST effects, which I am not using right now, but it gives you lots of options. So me personally, if I'm going to be editing audio, I usually use Audacity. Audacity is a open source piece of software that I've been using for years and absolutely love it. It has lots of options. It has lots of filters. It's fairly easy to use. It will do multi-track recording. It'll do everything that most of the commercial programs will do. I haven't really found anything it won't do as far as what I need. Like with Audition, I can import a video file. So we'll just open up one of the video files, and again, what it shows is the audio wave. The thing is, just like the other one, once I edit the audio wave here, I have to import it into the video, and then it's not going to match up with the video unless I edit the video at the same time. So for these type of situations where I'm making a YouTube video, I'm not going to use Audacity or Audition unless there is audio that I'm putting over something else. In most cases, I'm going to use the video editing software to edit both the video and the audio just because it keeps everything synced up and makes it easier. But these are options that you can use, and again, I highly recommend Audacity. I will include links to all of the different applications and everything that I'm using below, including Amazon links to any hardware that I'm using, as well as links to all the different pieces of software. So take a look down there for that. So for video software, I'm going to work backwards from the applications I don't normally use to the ones I do. I'm going to show two pieces of open source software, some of which you may or may not like. The first one here being Blender. Blender is extremely popular and extremely powerful. To me, it's also not as easy to use as some of the other applications. It's got tons of options. It does 3D rendering. It does all sorts of things. You can combine the things that you would do in Adobe After Effects as far as special effects in with your video editing and everything else. The screen that I have up right now is the video editing option. Unfortunately, from there, to me, it becomes very difficult to use. Keeps resetting. Like everywhere else, we can import the data. All right, I officially hate this software. This is why I don't use this software, because it doesn't do the things I want it to do. If you want to use Blender, find somebody else. I'm no good at this. All right, so the next piece of software that we're going to be looking at is OpenShot. OpenShot is one of the more popular open source video editing softwares because it is fairly easy to use. We are able to import files, and it never saves a location. So we import files. We're just going to randomly choose one again. It shows up here on the project files. I can open it up, in which case I can say I want to split the clip, which means I go to the section of the clip I want to start. So if I say I want to start here and then go a few more seconds in and say end, then I can save the clip. To me, this is kind of cumbersome, but it works and you can get perfectly fine results from it. It does have a full selection of transition and special effects as far as what you might want to do for your particular video. The audio editing is very simple. You can do overlays and everything else. Once you have something added, you can drag it to your timeline, and then you can see you have all of your properties for that particular clip. And then if you make the smaller clips, each one of them will have these particular properties. So you can have location, position, size, whether or not it rotates. So if you have something that was filmed sideways or whatever it may be, it has all the standard features. So as far as its capabilities, it works perfectly fine and it's free. It's not quite what I'm used to, and it doesn't do everything that I want as far as I can tell. If you want to know more about this software, I would be willing to do a deep dive and show you the basics of putting together a full video. So again, let me know either on Twitter at Unspecific or in the comments or however you can get a hold of me. Okay, so taking a look at the software I do use most of the time. I'm not going to do a deep dive again. If you want me to do a deep dive on how to use this or how I use this, let me know in the comments and I can make another video. This is Adobe Creative Cloud 2019. It allows me to pull in all of my project files and put them here. As you can see, whenever I pull up one of the source files, I can go through and edit it and set a beginning mark and an end mark, drag that down to the timeline, be able to add it. I can remove audio where necessary. I can make changes to the audio. Over here are the properties. You can see the video and audio properties. We've got lots of options for video transitions and video effects and audio effects, and there's just it's very powerful overall and not too difficult to use. The basics of it are pretty simple and straightforward. I can edit within the timeline. I can edit here above it. Each one of the windows also has tabs, so I can look at specific things if I want to. This is the audio edit for this particular clip, so if we hit play, we could see exactly how loud it was. I could adjust the volume to a certain amount. I can apply all sorts of different controls. So this is what I normally use. This is Adobe Premiere again. Again, I'll leave links, though not like you don't know how to go to adobe.com. But this is the one that works best for me. That doesn't mean it's best for everyone. It just works for me, and I already have it. So. Okay, so from the question of what's my setup like, now you know. Keeping it fairly simple. Really, I just use the one piece of software, the Adobe Premiere Pro. I really don't use the other software on a regular basis, but I have it there in case I need it. Pretty much all the audio and video recording is done with OBS and the single Marantz Turret. Again, I'll have all the links to the hardware and software in the description for the video. And if you have any recommendations or requests, let me know either in a comment or hit me up on Twitter at Unspecific. Thanks again and enjoy.